Good day, dear friend. Let me tell you about a story that I'm not sure about, but I'm going to give it to you anyway and just tell you. I'm just not buying it. I don't buy a lot of these stories. By the way, have you followed any of the Wagner stories and militia? Don't even get near that one. I don't know what the Western media are talking about with that one, but we've already been through that. And frankly, nobody in this country cares anything about it. That's the way that goes. But let's look at this. Very, very important. This is a story that reads as follows. Drag marchers spark outrage with, quote, "We're coming for your children" chant at New York City Pride Parade. Okay. LGBTQ activists participating in New York City's annual drag march. Now, drag march is one thing. Pride Day is another thing altogether. But in any event, this is from the Post. LGBTQ activists participating in New York City's annual drag march on Friday, sparked outrage for chanting, "We're here, we're queer, we're coming for your children." Now this was gay pride. This was annual gay pride. The gay pride march was "We're here, we're queer, we're here every year," or "We're back every year," or something along those lines. It was about being gay. This now says, quote, "We're coming for your children." The marchers, many wearing flamboyant dresses and clothing, walked through Tompkins Square Park in the East Village Friday night as part of the city's Pride Month celebration. Pride, we got pride. Video of the march shows people laughing and joining in with the cheeky chant. You can always tell there's a real, either an Aussie or a UK flavor to anything involving the Post. The cheeky chant, including one dancing topless woman. Now, I told you this, in the state of New York, being topless is not against the law. Man, woman, it just isn't. And I could make an argument. Others can be heard chanting, "We're here, we're queer, we're not going shopping," blah, blah, blah. But the issue is this movement grooms minors. This is according to Marjorie Taylor Greene. This movement grooms minors to have mastectomies and castration and fuels a multi-billion-dollar medical child abuse industry. She tweeted in response to the clip. I have a problem with that. First, the overuse of the word grooming, which has lost all use of the term. It's really habituation versus grooming. Pass the Protect Children's Innocent Act, let kids be kids. The conservative firebrand added, referring to the bill in Congress that would make it a felony to perform any gender-affirming care on a minor. Attorney James Ellis, who briefly was a member of former President Donald Trump's legal team, tweeted, "Remember that thing they said they totally are not doing? This is what evil looks like." Okay. A couple of things here. First and foremost, what do we make of this? Number one, you're falling victim to this. I would make sure everybody knows this, but you got to ask the question, how much of this is a part of the movement, and how much of this is a part of certain people saying these things? That's what I want to know. That may not seem like a big deal to you, but it does to me. It's a big deal. A big deal. Do you dig? A big deal. Tremendously big deal, okay? Absolutely a big deal. You understand? It's a big deal. A big deal. Believe me when I say that to you. It's a big deal. Now, what are we going to do about that? And I'm not sure who we are, but what are we going to do about it? Well, one thing is we're not going to stop and lose our minds every time this is being done. But I want everybody to understand this. And I want people, the American people, to hear this. And you don't have to You don't have to embellish it. See, this is one thing Marjorie Taylor Greene. Okay, this is important. But I would love to ask people from Middle America, regular mainstream America, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? Just tell me. What do you think about it? Do you hear this? Do you have any problem with your children being, quote, targeted? They're here for your children? Does that bother you in any way whatsoever? You tell me. Well, what is it? Can you tell me any organization, conservative groups, progressive groups who say we're here for your children? NFL, we're here for your children. Maybe Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, if they even have those anymore. So you don't have to overplay it. Marjorie Taylor Greene comes across as, here we go again. And what happens is, I want people, kind of like the Bobby Kennedy type, who will say, well, I wonder what he has to say about this. I think people will listen more to him than to her because I know what she's going to say. That's number one. Number two. This is something which is really difficult for people to recognize. And I'm going to bring this up. And I want you to understand this. First, this is a story. Daily Mail. Most frightening thing I have seen in my life. Worshippers outraged as neo-Nazis wave swastika flag outside Georgia synagogue. And police refuse to intervene because it's free speech. Worshippers at a synagogue in Georgia were outraged on Saturday to find neo-Nazis protesting outside their temple. About a dozen members of the Goyim Defense League, a hate group which accuses Jewish people of conspiring to control the world, staged their demonstration outside the Shabbat of Cobb County Synagogue. Police were called to the scene, but allowed the protest to continue as Jewish members of the congregation berated the neo-Nazis and told them to leave. Now, here is the question. Number one, answer this question. A number of questions I have. Number one, can the police arrest somebody for holding up a flag, any kind of flag whatsoever? Swastika, gay rights, anti-gay rights, an American, a Russian flag, or this flag, the Yankees. Can you arrest? Is it against the law for you to wave a flag in the country? You can burn an American flag and there's no law against that. Is there anything that you know? Yes or no? Don't answer from the heart. Don't answer from the gut. Don't answer whether you like it, whether you agree with it. I just think it's disgusting. Is there a right? Are you constitutionally protected? Yes or no? Answer this. Very, very simple. Answer. Are you simply that? Dick Long says no. Dick Long says no, there is no constitutional right. Is that what you're saying? I think that's what you're saying. Are you saying there is no constitutional right to wave a flag, to evince, to say something, to evoke something? This is a very simple question. Very simple question. Is this protected speech? Yes or no? Is there a constitutional right? Yes or no? No. You say there's no. Mikkel Gup says no, there is no constitutional right to wave a flag. You're kidding. You're saying there's no that you can arrest somebody. All right, you're under arrest. Right? What was that? Well, you can't waive that. You can't waive that. No, it's hate speech. Okay, what if I took one of the crossbars off and it's incomplete? It looks like an S. Well, whatever. The question is, this is constitutionally protected speech. The Klan could march in Skokie. We can burn an American flag. You can say what you want. Is it hate speech? Perhaps it is speech. Number one, are they separated from? Now, if they're in the middle of it, if they're obstructing it, is a problem. Now, the next question is, do you think that if this was an anti-gay reference, that they would have been given the same amount of courtesy? The answer is no. something tells me if there was a gay pride, or you know what, I don't know, I can't predict anymore. If during this gay pride march in New York, we had anti-gay, right? You know, kind of like that Westboro Baptist Church or whatever that was about. I don't know. The bottom line is simply this: it's free speech. It is free speech, and that is what America is about. And it means that it's going to be the most awful, most horrible, most terrible. That's what free speech means. It is ridiculously horrible to do that. Number two, this is the best part about it. This is the part that absolutely drives me crazy. More than just that, because there have been people who have been for the longest time trying to get folks to be angry and to be angry. And I'm going to show you these angry things. Unless you can explain and pass a test as to what the bases of National Socialism, I am dying to find out. I would love to hear. Tell me what you think this is about. Look at this. I said a hip hop. The hippie to the hip hop, you don't stop the rock. To the bang bang boogie, say up jump the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie the beat. Thank you, McDonald's. Genius. Absolutely genius. That's all I got to say. Thank you. This is the most, I can tell you, I can promise you, when people use the word fascism, they have the fascis, the fascisti. They do not understand what they are talking about. Do you understand what I'm saying? They do not understand. That's number one. I'm going back and forth. I'm getting two different things. In both the drag queens, or whatever these people are, and whatever, there are people who love to invoke anger and hostility, and they want you to think that they are enough of a group. Now, if you think that, oh, no, this type of speech must be stopped, how do you stop it? You stop it through exposure, ridicule, whatever it is. But I promise you, a fantasy of mine is to say, would you please give me your leader, the person who's wait a minute, good, sit down. Let's talk a little bit about what it is that you're for. Tell me the symbolism that you're after. And let the world know how little I guarantee you know about this. Let me know how little you know. Let me know this. It's that simple. Let me know how stupid you are. And as far as the other people go, listen to me. Are you going to jump? What are we going to do? Do you think, and listen to me like you've never listened before, do you think that people would have marches like this? The we're coming for your kids or whatever it is. Do you think if you didn't get this reaction? No. Do you think idiots like this will be showing up at synagogues if they didn't get a reaction? No. Do we fuel the reaction? Yes. Does Marjorie Taylor Greene? Yes. By virtue of her standing up to this signals to them we've hit pay dirt. And let me also tell you something, and you're not going to like this, but the people that I keep saying we, excuse me for doing this, but the people that we have selected as our spokespeople are the worst people there are to do this. You have no idea how many times I hear people say, well, but even Bobby Kennedy thinks that. Oh, really? Because he's the voice of reason. You've got to ask yourself this question. During the 60s, when the Black Power movement, Black Panthers, H. Rap Brown, Stokely Carmichael, Eldridge Cleaver, I'm leaving somebody out. Anyway, do you think when they said, revolution, power to the people, okay, what do you think that was going to turn into? It was an important movement, but do you think somehow we're going to say, okay, we're now become a black country with a black power system, and do you think that January 6th there was any chance where we could have said, oh, we lost our country, like a Pinochet, Allende kind of a thing, where we say, oh, turn the keys over. Well, some fat guy with a beer belly and an eye patch and a cami outfit who thinks he's Rambo just stood out there and said he wants to take over the country. So we're going to respond. What? Yes, we're going to respond. Because he's not going to take over the country. Oh, well, and that's what they're saying. This is revolution. People like Stephen King and others. Do you really think, first question, do you honestly think this? See, that's the problem. Nobody can understand this Wagner. I don't know if it's Wagner, if it's Wagner. Anyway, do people really understand that? No, because you don't know what to believe. Prigozhin just left. He just dropped his stuff and got the hell out of Dodge. Is anybody going to tell you that? No. So ask yourself, really, what are we supposed to do with this? No. So number one, this is where I've had it. This version, this right wing, this conservative, whatever it is, these are the worst people. Do you know that Trump is still doing the thing about, they're indicting me to get to you? Would you stop talking about that? Nobody's going to vote for you because you keep talking about your indictment. You're Lenny Bruce reading his indictment. We've lost all leadership. Nobody knows what the hell they're talking about. These people, honestly, where is the counter? This may sound stupid to you, and I don't. I'm not advocating this, but these supposed swastika aficionados, where do they meet? Where is the counter argument? Do you ever see Christians marching? Do you ever see drag folks marching? Do you ever see this? Does it ever exist? Does it exist any place? Have you ever seen this? No. You know why? Because and I got to say this by default, we sit back and we just wait for them to do something, and then we respond. Someone writes, Jesus is Lord. Thank you. Wonderful. What are you doing about this? Huh? What are you doing about this? Well, my name is Jesus is Lord. Okay, anything else? Not really. Okay. Well, those people go out there and they get the pictures. There's no Jesus is Lord parades. Nothing. Well, we don't have to. We go to church. Okay, but in the PR world, they're kicking your behind. So what do? You turn it over to Marjorie Taylor Greene, who keeps saying pedophile, 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 pedophile. I don't understand it. You look at these people, they're clowns. Don't you remember when you were a kid and you did stuff to drive your parents crazy? Remember when you walked around with like this? Remember people who walked around with that Mumia Jamal, whatever, the guy who killed the cop? I'll never forget. It was a 52nd and Broadway. It was crossing right near the near Gallagher's, right crossing the street, and there's this young person wearing a Jamal. This was just years ago. And I said, I'm very interested in that case. I said, you do know he killed that police officer, right? What? I said, Jamal, he killed the police officer. It's not that they got the wrong guy. I'm with you in that I'm not a fan of the death penalty. But he had no idea. No, it was a girl. She had no idea. None. How many people have you seen wearing a Che t-shirt? How many people wear the Che? How? How many people in college campuses have you seen, in dorms, have you seen wearing the Che, the sign or whatever? How many? How many people? How many? Tell me. It's the most incredible thing I've ever seen in my life. It's the most, this is it. You're falling for this. Do you think this country is going to go, seriously, you're going to ask yourself this question, is going to go trans? Do you think, true story, listen, that one day people are going to say, well, there you go. It's the damnest thing. I don't know. All these kids they're rebuking and they're denying and they're turning their back on their gender and I don't know what the hell's going on here. You really think that? Seriously. You cannot possibly be serious. You can't possibly be serious. So that's the question. Do you think that you're going to have, I don't even know if, because with YouTube, you gotta be careful. And I'm not using this word. This is how paranoid people are. Let's call them nutsos, okay? The people with the swastika, the nutsos. Do you think these are nutsos? Do you think they really understand the nutso party? Do they understand National Socialism? Do they know anything about the post-Versailles? Could they sit down and explain? Could they also explain the origins of anti-Semitism? And where do you think that comes from? Where do you think this goes back to the time of Shakespeare? Well, before you, do you really want to go into this? Do you really want to understand? Do you want to know how the Catholic Church helped dramatically, especially when Pope Paul the 23rd, when Roncalli got rid of the perfidy of the Jews during the Easter? No, they know nothing about this. They know nothing. It's a flag. It's the Che. It's the guy with the right on, with the picture of Einstein. When we were, who had a Farrah Fawcett poster? Remember that? It's semiotics. It's symbolism. Every time you jump up and down, every time you go, oh God, there they are. There, you're getting a rise out of them. I can't believe it. It's like kids do this. What do you want? What do you think is going to happen? Seriously, you're going to ask yourself this question. Do you really think, honestly, do you really think that this world, this country, is risking a gender transmogrification? Is there anything called perspective or context? No. If you want to do this, mock them, laugh at them. It's the silliest thing with 119 likes. Thank you very much. And by the way, just so that you know the best way you can possibly fight against this is to go to mypillow.com, promo code Lionel. That's right. Because that stands for free enterprise and freedom. They have pillowcases and wonderful clothing with biblical verses. They sell their own coffee. This is the man. I got to tell you this. Every time I see this guy, by the way, call the number. See the number? Lindell answers right away. Sit down to see. He must be like right there. MyPillow.com, promo code Lionel. Anybody who does things the old-fashioned way, I do this. We are under such... MyPillow.com, promo code Lionel. Only 132 likes. Come on, let's go. Very, very frankly, we have no leadership. The only one who even remotely will talk about this rationally is... Bobby Kennedy. Let's talk about this. One of the worst things you can possibly do is to dismiss a cause because there's nothing to the cause. And there is nothing to this stupid cause. Now, when I say that, I don't mean they don't exist. For the longest time, we have had Aryan nations, weird militias, NAMBLA, I guess. There's now, I think Connecticut, Mrs. L was talking about Connecticut, is the ninth state. The ninth state. The ninth to end child marriage. Here's one for you. Look at this story. This one really gets me. This just gets me. I mean, I saw this story. And this is how he sensationalized. This is an exclusive. Schoolgirl murder pact. Girl 12 who shot her father before killing herself in botched murder pact with friend after they plotted to kill their families and pets, then run away together, is pictured for the first time posing with guns alongside her armed dad. Okay, what are you supposed to do with this movie? I don't know. Is this common? No. Well, what is it? Well, I don't know. Let me also give you another one. Again, how do you do this? They're trying to sell papers. Let me read this one to you. Tell me if there's anything to this story. You ready for this? Listen to this. I don't know how. I'm just going to just read the headline. This is Daily Mail. I like this. Suburban women are backing Biden over any Republican candidate. A Daily Mail poll reveals Trump, DeSantis, and the GOP field are losing over abortion and culture wars. Did you know that? There's somebody who claims that DeSantis has alienated women like her with his culture wars and anti-abortion. Okay. Remember what I told you for the longest time? Remember what I told you, and I've been saying for the longest time? And it's so it is so unpopular. I could tell because it makes people think like, well, that doesn't repeat the same thing. But one of the things is that Republicans don't know how to run an election. They don't know anything about anything. They don't know anything about anything. And my goal is very simply this. I want to win this election. And when I tell people this, they don't want to hear this because they're so into this idea. But I just like liking Trump. Now let's get down to brass tacks. Listen to me and listen good. Number one. What are you going to do about this gay, trans, whatever? What are you going to do about it? Is this a problem? Yes or no? Answer my question. Because if you think it is, you're being played. We'll get to this issue when we get everything else squared away. We got huge problems in the world. Huge problems. This is not one of them. This is. And if you do, it's not going to be done through politics. This is a cultural thing. What are you going to do? Let's say I'm Joe Biden, and I say to yourself, okay, great, let me ask you a question. This is wonderful. Thank you very much. What would you like me to do? Ban them? Ban them? I don't think so. What would you like me to do? Tell me. Tell me what it is that you'd like me to do. This is Joe Biden. I can't ban this. Well, do something about it. Do what? Well, there's, surgery with children. They're just marching up and down, and they're talking a lot of garbage. What would you like me to do? Is this against the law? No. Why do you fall for this? And they know you fall for it. That's number one. Number two, this quote, hate business. What am I supposed to do with this? Interesting question. Who's upset with this? Jews are. Liberals are. Where are the gay woke folks? Are they saying anything about this? Not really. Why? Well, that's hate, but it's not hate directed at them. Excuse me. Shall I go back? Do you know what would have happened to you during this particular time with the nutsos? and the Nutso party during this part of Nutso Germany, do you know what would have happened to you? Do you know this? No, you don't. Why? Because you're children. Because this is a performance art thing. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. Believe me, the biggest problem that the nutsos would have to decide is, do we get these people or do we get those people? Because you were lumped into that as well. So you may not think you are connected ideologically with Jews, but you would have been on the same chopping block if you want to know history. You do know history, right? So what do you want to do about this? Do you care about this? Is this hate speech? Why aren't you going crazy about this? Where is Karine Jean-Pierre? Where are the usual? Where is this? Where is the president reaching out to members of the Jewish community to say we are going to protect you the same way he would have a LGBTQ to put up not necessarily recognition of Israel because that's the state, but no, Jews get a pass. They're like, I don't understand this. They're your brothers and sisters. They're in the same position you are. You want to talk about hate speech? Let's start with that. Big time. Big time. And one could argue that even Oscar Wilde got a hell of a lot for... Anyway, you can't even... Oscar Wilde? Because I'm talking to children. Nobody knows anything. John McGuire couldn't get higher says... You already provided the answers as to what to do. Just Springer them. Go up to the group, ask some simple questions, put it on social media. Their idiocy will destroy them. I think that's too correct. Thank you, by the way, John. Appreciate that. Hand crepitations to you. Ignorance also shows you the fact that it's yes, they don't know this, but there's something also you can do is you can say, people just love, this is performance art. And it's really something. They're not really hurting anybody. It might be obstreperous, but in New York City, I can't speak for you, but in New York City, we have more parades than you can imagine. Ryan says, thus, We're Coming for Your Children is a ready-made GOP campaign ad. Yes, it could be. Thank you, Ryan. It could be, but how do I say this? The best response, Ryan and Mr. McGuire, is to really say, there's not enough of you. You are in the minority. You don't have enough. There are more January 6 people than those who want to go after children. And here's the best part about this, to make it even more complicated. Where are the gay people who have children who are saying, wait a minute, we're not going after anyone. Being gay. Have you ever heard of a heterosexual say, yeah, I like a bunch of women, and we're going after your kids? What does that mean? I don't know what it means. Well, what do you mean you're going after our kids? You're going to attack our kids? You're going to what? Convert them ideologically? How are you going after our kids? What does that mean? They have no earthly idea what the hell that means. Nothing. So what I would love to do is to say, listen, this is America. We've had the pet rock. We've got the mummers in Philadelphia. We've got... And as long as they don't hurt anybody, whatever. Oh, I was going to say, in New York, we have the Caribbean Day Parade. We've got the Israeli Parade. We got the Dominican Parade. We got the Puerto Rican Parade. We got Columbus. We've got veterans. We got more people than you can imagine. There's nothing wrong with it. Go ahead. They can say whatever they want. If they stand up and say, we will dematerialize, we will unleash the powers of antimatter. Oh my God, they're planning on destroying the earth. String theory's wrong. Quantum gravity makes no sense. Brian Greene, I sound like Weinstein. But the point is, you can say whatever you want. Remember the Westboro Baptist Church when there was a funeral of a young man who died, I believe, in Iraq, and they said something to the effect of, maybe they used that F word, that reference to the British slang for cigarettes and bundles of sticks and cigarettes, and I never understood. I never understood it, because if you're going to have a parade, it's not good where people say, "What? What?" Let me go back to a couple of things here. Stonewall in, when was that? 69. Stonewall riots. This was the best one ever. 1969. Stonewall riots. The Stonewall, and this is on Christopher Street. And if you can watch this documentary somewhere, it's fantastic. It works like this. Stonewall was a gay bar that people, and Christopher Street was where people from around the world came to. Because if you were gay, it was an oasis where you could be yourself. Now think about that. You couldn't even be yourself. Parents were beating up kids. People were, it was awful. In New York City, you couldn't, quote, dress like a cross-dress, wear a wig. Nobody even knew what the hell that meant. Wear a kilt, wear a dress. It was barbaric. To even just hang out and hook up and do the stuff which straight people do without even thinking of it. There used to be, not anymore really, but I mean it's there, but the meatpacking district on the west side, they would have these containers, these tractor trailer, these reefer containers, these, trailers, truck trailers, where they would hang meat and everything. And people would pay, or how do I say this? They would lease to gay people these trucks, trailers, where they could do their thing in trailers with smelling of blood and carcass. It's disgusting. Disgusting. Why? Because they exhibited a particular behavior that was just their own. They merely exhibited a behavior that somebody said no. That would infuriate me. It's nobody's business. They're not hurting anybody. This isn't LGBT. This is nothing. These were people who just wanted to, whatever. So the Stonewall came up. And believe it or not, it was owned by, I believe, the Genovese crime family. And they basically said, look, we got you covered. If you want to come in and pay for these watered-down, crappy drinks, you can do whatever you want. We got you covered. We got the cops paid off. Nobody bothers you. And that's where they went. And they could do stuff. They could wear a wig. They could wear a dress. They could dance. They could do whatever it was, which is their constitutional right as Americans, even if they're not an American. And that should infuriate you. I don't care what you do. There's no kids, no small animals, no nothing. This was 1969. And then one night, I don't know what happened. Either they didn't pay him off, the cops, or who knows. They came in, they pulled the plug out of the jukebox, go, all right, everybody against the wall. And when you were arrested, your picture was put in the newspaper, and your life was ruined, and everybody mocked you, and it was horrible. It was terrible. And you wonder, what are they doing? What is the purpose of this? Why are you doing this? Why? What did we do? We didn't do anything. See, that's the part that drives me crazy. We didn't do anything, okay? Well, they said no. What do you mean no? No. We're not going with you. We're not breaking this up. The hell with you and all. And something happened that they still can't figure out what happened. They still don't know what happened. The New York City cops, tougher then than they are now. Look at these cops today. fat, blubbery walruses just lumbering about, covered in tats, looking at their phone, never wear a hat. They couldn't run a block, a half a block. All of them, one more. I mean, there's some good ones, but it's just, I mean, they hire anybody. You could walk up. Good, you're a patrol sergeant. Thank you very much. Oh, are you Norwegian? Norwegian. Oh, you're quadrisexual. Well, I got equity. You're over here. You're a captain. Hey. Not then. It was a different story. They had paddy wagons and nightsticks, and they were guys on the corner who would do that spinning thing. Well, guess what happened? Somebody, I don't know, blew a whistle, did something, and all of a sudden, these gay folks showed up out of nowhere. And they said, oh, no, you're not going to do it. And there was a riot. And listen to what I'm about to tell you. They still can't believe it. New York City cops left. They left. They retreated. Bunch of sissy boys beat the New York City cops. They retreated. It was unheard of. And the next day they said, come on, we're gonna march. And nobody said, they said, well, we'll show up, but nobody's going to show up. Well, it was enormous. And that's what it was. It was gay pride. People who say we're proud because we're standing up and it's not a joke. We're not a novelty. We're not, it was we're here. What was it? We're here, we're queer, we're here every year, or whatever it was. And then they moved into the Royal Order of the Hibernians, or they wanted to march in the St. Patrick's Day parade. And it was about political ideology. Everybody knew what gay people did, and they were trans, and that's fine, or LGBT, whatever you want to call it, I don't know. But it made sense. Well, that's been gone, because there is, let's face it, for the most part, there is tremendous improvement. But now we've got this, and it's a joke. It's a joke. And that's the part. And we're being held hostages by these idiots who show up. Wouldn't you love if these neo-nutsos show up and nobody cared? Nobody took a picture. Oh, they got the... Look at these guys. Oh, so you're a nutso. I see. All right. Would you like to answer a few questions about it? No, probably not. I'm going to give you a couple of names. Can you give me an idea of maybe how this movement started? What was your favorite chapter of Mein Kampf what was the most? Was it the Treaty of Versailles? What do you think about that? What do you think about Barbarossa? Would you like to talk about that? But they wouldn't know what you're talking about. It's just like Americans on the right, they're into the Gadsden flag, live free or die, don't tread on me. America, Bible, Jesus, they never read the Bible. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. It's a label. It's not everybody, but a lot of people, they have nobody can answer anything. It's a label. Give me a flag. Give me a thing. I want to identify. And here comes Marjorie Taylor Greene. Here comes Boebert, the clowns. And like that woman, and you can dismiss this all you want, the rational people in the world are saying, I don't want these. Do you think that do you not know what the GOP looks like? Do you seriously? When you see Charlie Cook or whatever his name is, oh dear God, when Ben Shapiro and all these folks sidle on up and move to the mic, I'm thinking we're doomed. This is it. This is the future. Doomed. Marjorie Taylor Greene, oh, this is great. Nothing. So you watch this. And by the way, dismiss it at your own peril. Believe me when I'm telling you that. And this is something, and when I see Trump again, he says, we're going to have a biggest party July 4th because they're indicting me. It's like, that's it? You still don't get it. Nobody wants to vote for you because they indicted you. It doesn't make any sense. Why did you? Oh, because they indicted him. This is the problem. This is a huge problem. Ryan says, Andrew Sullivan has spoken out on the internecine war heading up in that community. The snake eating its own tail is our only hope. Thank you, Ryan. And by the way, Andrew Sullivan, thank you, sir, is a wonderful. I've always liked his style because you immediately didn't say, See, Ryan, I've been through this before. And one of the things I've been through is this. When people talk about the Civil War, I gave up on that. I gave up. Let me see if I can just tell you this. I give up on everybody. Maybe not this community. God bless you. We only have 204 alike. I need 300 or else this is for naught. This is for naught. I saw somebody the other day who is a professional eater who shoves food into his mouth and then describes how he has to eliminate that the next day. And he got like 10 million, which is interesting. I'm not suggesting it's not. So here I am. Could I have 300, please? No. Okay. I have been through this, and you name the level of idiocy, name it. Where would you like for me to start? The only group of people who know what they're talking about are people involved in sports. The only ones. Sports people know what they're talking about. And if you don't know, they will dismiss you immediately. That's all I'm saying. Name the area. Russia? Oh, God, forget it. Forget it. Forget it. Nobody knows anything about this. Nothing. Okay, that's fine. Trump, they either hate him or they love him. And I did a video. I said TDS goes both ways. There are people I know who love Trump to the point of whatever it is. Okay, they don't know anything about that. Artificial intelligence, forget it. Just forget it. Don't even bother. They think it's about robots or something or ChatGPT. They don't know. I don't under. They don't know. They don't know. We got that. I told you years ago, I think I did, that when I was growing up in the South, in Florida, there was a guy who told us one time that we had to watch out at the carnival because they had a bunch of these morphodites. And I have yet to figure out what that is. Hermaphrodite? Morphodite. Morphodite. But it sounded bad. It's like, these are like Klingons or I don't know what they are. And so, to make a long story short, if all of a sudden morphodites could march with big signs and nobody knows what they're talking about, we will be heard. Who is this? It's a morphodite. Who? Imagine somebody walking around with, 7 foot tall with a bouffant hair and some drag, whatever. He goes, who? Morphodites. Are they with us? No. What the hell are they? I don't know. Who are they? Then the nutsos are, wait a minute, who are those people? Those are morphodites. Are they with it? It can't be, right? I never heard of them. And I just want to confuse people. I want morphodites to just come out of nowhere and then just have rallies and mark. And kids fake things that I knew I was a morphodite because I just didn't fit in. And I finally had the guts to say, and people, what? What is this? I throw it right back at them and use a parody to say, you see what I just did? I created overnight a group of people that have no chance of changing anything like you don't. And I'm telling you, you can say whatever you want. Now, there are people that I know. I told you about this. There are people who love for their kids to be gay or straight or whatever it is. Just like there are people who say, our child is a born again Baptist. Your child is? Yes. Your child understands. Yeah, okay. I mean, it works out. Kids don't know what the hell you're talking about. But anyway, doesn't matter. That's where we are right now. And meanwhile, the First Amendment, I think most people would say, well, you want to stand in front of a church and do that. We are so distracted. We are so distracted. And what's really the issue today? What is happening today? What is happening today? Tell me. What are the issues that make the most sense? The Republicans are going to lose this again. They're not getting through. They're talking to, how do I say this? They're talking to their folks. I'll give you an example. I have a friend of mine who claims to be Sicilian. His family, generations back, are from Sicily, but this guy's Mr. Sicilian. And he always talks about how the Sicilians are different. And the Sicilian. I said, okay. And I said, do you know what the Sicilians eat? Oh, yes, I do. I said, well, I don't think so. You know, they're very, very, and this guy hates seafood. I said, yeah, how about pasta with, sardine fillets and spleen sandwiches? Big, huge, big deal. All the food, the big spleen. Have you ever seen that? They got this big cauldron with a spleen. No, just a bun and the spleen sliced, throw that thing. They love that. And I said, if you showed up to, Santo Stefano and all of a sudden, and you didn't like this, you're liking Northern Italian. That's what you're doing. What? He had no idea, but he loved the label. Did you ever see on TV, on movies, the way they always notice the American Indians? American Indians are always Plains Indians. Always. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. So let me just tell you right now, and I'm not trying to be the doomsayer. The best thing that happened for us is Bobby Kennedy, and he's a Democrat. It's the best thing that's ever happened. And if there's anybody who will pull people into the fold, who will just destroy the Democratic Party, it's Bobby Kennedy. And if he goes third party, that's it. That's done. It's over with. Now, Ron DeSantis, is he making headway? No. No. Because who? Ron DeSantis is still talking to Republicans. I told you before, there are young people who care about climate change and care about cultural issues and care about LGBT and what are the Republicans doing? Nothing. Nothing. Because they think that's stupid. Oh, come on, we don't care about that. You'll come along. You'll figure this out. Oh, no. That's not if you want to run a show. Just like my friend, if you open up an Italian restaurant, authentic Sicilian food, nobody would show up. Not in this country. Sardine fillets and spleen sandwiches ain't going to work. Even though it's authentic, even though it's the real thing, Americans don't want the real thing. That's what I'm going to say. Period. Now, my friends, Ryan, thank you immensely for your kindness and your beneficence. I appreciate that. John McGuire couldn't get higher. Thank you for being not who you are, but what you appear to be. And our friends, of course, from McDonald's. God bless you for your philanthropy and your charity and the like. Okay? So think about what I'm saying. Don't forget, mypillow.com. Have you bought those yet? You know what my favorite thing is they have? Is this little, I don't want to call it, it's a little pillow. You put it behind, it just makes every, when you get in and you think, oh, okay, this is almost right. You put this thing in there and it's perfect. It like adjusts things microscopically, if that makes any sense. And of course it doesn't. All right, dear friends, have a great and glorious day. See you tonight, 7 p.m. Remember, think for yourself. Don't fall prey to this. And ask yourself, who's really on our side? And then find out who is the our and our side. See you then, 7 p.m. Don't forget the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue you. Ta-ta.